Hey guys, StudFit here. I hope you're enjoying the Rosalina tour so far. This is another episode of The Rundown, essentially covering everything that has changed with the Rosalina tour when it comes to who got buffed, what are the top 10 changes when it comes to drivers, karts, gliders, and finally just some meta level strategies to help you be able to plan accordingly when it comes to tickets and how you guys are playing the game. So this is stuff that I'm looking for whenever a new tour is released. Gives me a day or two to be able to digest everything and then present it to you in hopefully a helpful way. Obviously, you know I love pipes. We'll jump right into the week 100 pipe with Fire Rosalina. Obviously, she having Fire Flower, not the best skill per se, but for those Rosalina fans, she might be your cup of tea. For me, I'll pass. It's not a great pipe when it comes to the pipe odds. Even the Apple Kart, it has so many tracks that are city tracks, not very valuable. The assumed number of tracks is very, very low. And outside of the Butterfly Prism with Red Shell Plus, nothing here I really am glamoring for. However, I will say when it comes to these pipes, if you missed out on any of the holiday items, they are still in there, at least for the pipe. When it comes to Bowser Santa, Yoshi Reindeer, Mario Santa, all three of them are still in this pipe. However, extremely low odds. Essentially, they're mixed in with the 6 normal high-end drivers, as well as also 3 drivers for what looks like to be next week's spotlight characters, which of course it's going to be better to just wait for next week if you really want those. So all of those are mixed in for that one high end that you're pulling outside of the spotlight. In addition to those, I will say the one who sticks out like a sore thumb is King Babam. Obviously released this past summer, and hasn't really been seeing too much action since. And I think with the other Gigabomb released driver with Gold Shy Guy, just not quite as interesting as he was when he was first released. However, he is in this pipe. The question I think a lot of people have been discussing is he going to be permanent? Is he not going to be permanent? Anything could happen. Obviously, it's Nintendo's world. We are just living in it. They've been very inconsistent at times, so who knows what could happen. Just in the inconsistency, I think back to Butterfly Sunset, just being completely forgotten from a pipe and then brought back in. King Babam, he could be brought in. They could change their the way that they've been doing things in the past, which has been for every time that a new driver is introduced to the cup when it comes to a high-end permanent, they get their own cup first. King Babam does not have his own cup. At least that's what's happened, say, with Pink Gold Peach. She was not permanent in the pipe, and then all of a sudden she had her own cup. And I remember predicting this past summer that she would be permanent in the pipe, and everyone would say, they're not going to have a coin box permanently in the pipe. Well, there she was. So because he doesn't have, that's my number one reason, because he hasn't been in the pipe, I don't believe he's going to be permanently in the pipe, or the all clear pipe for that matter. However, anything could change, anything could happen, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. I wouldn't say, hey, I'm not going to pull on him because he's probably going to be permanent. Don't be that guy. That's probably not going to happen. If it does happen, I might be eating my words, but he's in there, a very small value. If you really want him, though, I'd wait till the special pipe, which I'll get to here in a second. When it comes to pipes or karts in this week 1 pipe, you still have the regular karts. One thing I want to point out is you obviously have the 3 holiday karts that were a part of this last tour, as well as also 3 karts from the week 2 pipe that will be spotlights for week 2, which of course those would be the ones I would focus on. However, one thing sticks out, and that's the macaroon. It is there in the pipe. We'll see if it's permanent. I will say, unlike the drivers, with the karts, they've been kind of throwing a permanent one in there almost every tour. You saw it with Sports Coupe and Green Circuit and now Steel Driver. They've been doing that as kind of a new thing. And with karts, there's just so many karts. Who cares, right? You're getting one of, we'll probably get up to 60 karts. Who knows? But karts being obviously a very interesting part of the game. And that they don't help make the combo longer. It doesn't help you with frenzies, but they are important in the game. And I think in this standpoint, sure, the more the merrier. Who cares? We'll we'll get bombarded by them, I'm sure, at some point, and probably have too many. As for the gliders, the non-spotlight gliders, you have our typical permanent pipe, and obviously a lot of shared overlap with the all clear pipe. But then we also have 3 of the holiday, just like the drivers and karts, 3 holiday gliders that are also going to be part of this pipe. And then also the Luma Parafoil and Wicked Wings for next week. So, I think that there is a 3rd glider. I think that will, as my best guess, it looks like that'll probably be a spotlight for that pipe. We don't sure exactly what it is. My guess, probably the Great Sale, as you see here, it's already there. So why would they include it again? So we'll see if that's just spotlight and removed from this option as a non-spotlight. We'll see. Here's kind of what I was alluding to there. Data mining did find out, though, that in this pipe, there are no holiday items. So if you want holiday items, go for week 1. If you're kind of over the holiday items, probably like myself, I went into those pipes pretty well. Week 2 definitely is the way to go. It's definitely a strong possibility that there'll be 9 high ends, 6 spotlights, plus maybe 3 more. Now, even with these, with Cometail, technically we could have 9 spotlights and no non-spotlights. I don't know how that'll work, but there's definitely, it looks like it's going to be a good pipe to pull on. Definitely a lot of high ends, just decent quality top high ends there to be able to pull from, whether it's drivers, karts, or gliders. Except for Rosalina Halloween, I'm not a big fan, but when it comes to course coverage, Aurora and Swimmer has a lot of coverage. Pretty solid drivers, and these karts seem to be getting boosted as well. And this is what I was mentioning. You see there might be a 3rd glider option. I think a lot of people are guessing the Great Sale. If you look really closely, there's a Great Sale up here at the top of the banner. So that could be it. I also kind of the Manta Glider was released at the same tour with Rosa Swimwear, and so it could be that. I've been kind of just trying to wishful thinking, hoping that's the case. Obviously, it's a part of this special pipe, which I'll get to here, so it could also be part of that as well. So here, some great ice-related type of drivers, karts, and gliders. I'm a big fan of the karts in this specific pipe. My guess is it's going to be similar to the Princess pipe, which would be 1 driver, 1 kart, 1 glider. And so, from that standpoint, it might not be the best odds, but there's some high value items here. Obviously for those who didn't get King Bum, it'd be nice to get him in this pipe. Again, I wouldn't assume that he's permanent in the 100 pipes. As for the Paxos Tour, there are some interesting ones. 2 new, Rosalina related ones. Planet Glider with Lightning Plus, and then Dreamy Egg with Dash Panel Plus. That Dreamy Egg, with as much as Nintendo loves Rainbow Road, there's a good chance that a lot of the different actual tracks that this Dreamy Egg has most likely will be Rainbow related, and that might be a pretty powerful card to have. Now I know, for me, a lot of the Rainbow Road has a lot of overlap with, say, Gold Cheap Charger, or with Happy Ride, or Rose Queen. A lot of cards I have pretty high level as it is. So, maybe there's not a lot of value there. But I would say out of all the packs throughout the whole tour, this Dreamy Egg one's probably going to be the best value. Obviously, 2 high ends is great compared to the other 90 pack, where it has Black Shy Guy. I'd probably say this is the least valuable. Although Rainy Balloons is a great glider, I love mine. It's just tied with that super driver. Not a big fan there. I will say, if I had to pick between the 2 45 packs, that Dark Buggy is probably my favorite. It's got a lot of value. Jump Boost Plus is great. Goes well with some of the Choco Mountain, and it's a part of Ranked Up coming up. So if you're trying to just kind of go for one of those 45 packs, that might be the way I'd go, at least for now. And we'll see if Planet Glider comes back around for a special pipe, or who knows what. That'd probably be my go-to strategy for the packs. Now here's spoiler, extra spoiler with spoiler on top, with maybe a couple different sprinkles of cherry, sprinkles and cherry of spoilers, and this is the packs for next tour. Yes, next tour, like not next week, next tour. like the New Year's tour. Yes, the New Year's tour, the tour that we've been waiting for, the biggest tour of the year outside of the anniversary, the New Year's tour. So a lot of things to unpack from this. I'm not sure why they released these data mines for this. Maybe people are going to be on vacation during the holidays, and they said, why don't we just go ahead and put it in the game now? Who knows? But it's out there. Feel free to check for yourself. But these are the packs, and I'm pretty sure these are facts. I don't believe that this is any type of photoshopping. But Peach Kimono and Black Kabuki Dasher and Purple Oil Paper Umbrella. These combos sound familiar. These all were tied to Tokyo. So we might have a New Year's in Tokyo, a Tokyo Blur 4 or 5, 8, whatever we're at now. That's kind of a guess. And then also when we're looking at, again, I can't believe I missed this before, but in each of the packs you see a background of a track, and that is usually a part of ranked. So we might see, it also would make sense kind of coming off of a winter tour and then an ice tour through Rosalina tour, and now coming into a New Year's tour. It makes sense to kind of keep that ice theme. You have, so my guess is next week, not this week, but or next week's, but I guess 2 weeks from now, the first week of this tour, my guess is we'll have Peach Kimono and this Black Kabuki Dasher packs for that first week, and then this Dry Bowser and Bowser's Castle, and Waluigi's Pinball for the second week of this New Year's tour or Tokyo tour, whatever you want to call it. My guess is that there's some tie of Tokyo, some tie of ice, and a little bit of tie of whatever you want to sell for New Year's. I mean, I don't know if like 2021 is year of the turtle or something like that, and that's why they have Dry Bowser. But I think we're all sick and tired of Dry Bowser. I definitely don't need him. I've probably got him 20 times after maxing him out. But for what it's worth, he's gonna be a pack. Gilded King's great card. I took mine to 5, so I'm excited to bump that one all the way to 6 as part of that strategy of me taking something to 5 and let the game take it to 6. Now there is also a new glider. It looks like the Undead Motors badge turned into a glider. Pretty interesting. I'd be interested to see how that turns out. But really big tip of the hand here from Nintendo. One being maybe Tokyo, another being kind of a tail end of an ice tour between those two ice tracks that'll be a part of ranked for that first week. Who knows? And maybe I could have it totally wrong. Maybe it's Peach Kimono mixed with Gilded King, but it totally makes more sense to have Gilded King mixed with Dry Bowser. So, and then of course that Undead Motors with the Dry Bowser face on it. So that's kind of my prediction there based on seeing these, and it's one of my takeaways though is to take a look at these packs when you see them. Most likely that'll be a track that'll be a part of ranked that week, whether it be week 1 or week 2, etc. So big spoiler there. Lots of impact from that, a lot of speculation. One other thing that I wanted to point out from some of the data mining is that they found hints at a potential new track, or technically 2 new tracks. One being the N64 Toad's Turnpike, which I'm very familiar with, having been big into the N64 when it was released, and that was obviously what caught my attention with Mario Kart. But then also Wii Mushroom Gorge. So not as familiar with that. But keep an eye out. These might be 2 tracks that are released here in the next couple months, for what it's worth. All right, now get to the segment some people love the most, which is who got buffed. So the takeaway here are who are the drivers, karts, and gliders that are getting added new tracks, that are added value, and it's a good indication of should I invest in these drivers, karts, gliders as they become more valuable. So Builder Luigi, obviously being pretty new, that makes sense that he would get additional tracks. But for being as new as he is, essentially, being only like 2 tracks old or 2 tours old, he already has 15 tracks, which is a great number of tracks. None of them are cities. That's good for him, especially with that 2 boasts there. Nabbit, man, I cannot. This is one I definitely want to talk about. I got him this past summer and haven't used him. I just kind of had him at level 1, which is pretty normal. I'm getting really excited for somebody and have him there at level 1. I've been basically saying as soon as the game gives me a reason to invest in him, I'm going to invest in him. Then once I found out he was a part of ranked, I had a little bit of a dilemma because I already had gold Shy Guy at I think level 4, but I dumped tickets into him. I think at 6 so far. If I get one more high-end ticket this week, I'll be putting it on him. Might even throw some gold grand stars to get that gold pass gift, but probably gonna take him to level 6. I'm pumped about him, especially now that he's gotten these 2 new tracks. Total of 21 tracks, 19 assumed, meaning that they're 19 non-city tracks. Extremely valuable there. He's number 5 on our top 10 list, which we'll get to here in a little bit. He's awesome. I love the way he looks. Lucky 7's phenomenal as well. Peach Explorer is now up to 17 tracks. That's a lot of tracks for being, only really 3 tours old. Bowser Santa, it's good that he's getting some more tracks. It makes sense that he's getting ice tracks. Makes total sense, and it gives him a little bit more value outside of the holiday, which is good. Dry Bowser Gold, he's still number 10 on our list. He got an additional track, now up to 21 non-city tracks there. And Penguin Luigi continue. I mean, every single tour, it seems they're trickling in this value. Now he's up to 28 assumed tracks and number 3 on our top 10 list, which we'll get to here in a second. Shy Guy Gold, as I mentioned, he's obviously part of ranked this week. He's now up to 16 tracks, which is, it's kind of taken a while to get at that since he's released around the Halloween time. Build Mario's already right sniffing at him at 15. Ice Mario at 18. He's got obviously a lot of great coverage. Been around for a while. I think he's coming up on his 1-year anniversary, which is good for him. Obviously, nice to see some value there. As compared to Mario Santa, Peach Halloween, and Rosalina Halloween, each given a pity track. I mean, they're at 14 and 13 non-city tracks. These drivers are unfortunately fairly useless. I have each of them, I believe, and again, I'm not planning on using them anytime soon. I mean, unfortunately, there's just so many, especially for Rosalina Halloween. I know a lot of people are big fans of her, and she looks great. I can't be mad at big fans there, but just so many city tracks. I think she's got 4 or 5. Fortunately, I only leaves her with 13 tracks throughout the year that are kind of coming in and coming out. So Pit Crew, nice to see him finally get a track there. He's up to 8, but he's obviously one of the most rare supers in the game. Excited to see some value there. And then, of course, our boy, King Bob-omb, now up to 18 tracks. I do think he's going to be less rare, more common when it comes to us seeing him around in ranked. He hasn't really been in ranked too often. He's again kind of similar to Nabbit. I was wanting to put tickets in him if I had to, having to pick between the two. I'm definitely doing Nabbit, but King Bob-omb with 18 tracks, starting to get up there, starting to become more useful. I'd love to see him one day be a part of stuff more permanently and being a lot more common versus Penguin Luigi or someone else I'm not going to use. I mean, that Ice Flower is not as cool as Gigamom, that's for sure. Getting into who buffed for the carts. Some good carts here. Obviously, Holiday King got a nice 4 buffs. Similar to Bowser Santa, good to see him get some ice tracks. That makes total sense. Obviously up to 12 already is a lot of tracks there. Black Dozer, you probably were like me where you had to pick between investing in that or in the Gilded King last week for ranked, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I ended up going with Gilded King because he was really high on the top 10 list. Now it's Black Dozer. Now it's bumping up. Between the two, just basically reskins of some really cool looking carts. Good to see them see some value. I'd rather, to be honest with you, I'd rather invest in that and drive that thing around than the Crawley cart. Just not a big fan of the Crawley cart or Pumpkin cart, etc. But it is what it is. Sports Coupe. Sports Coupe is to me, it's one of those like almost like Penguin Luigi in that it keeps trickling in this value. I know it was a very popular cart in. I'm not sure if it was the Wii games or Mario Kart 8. But it's got a lot of great Mario circuit tracks. It's now got, it has a lot of city tracks. I think it has, like 4 city tracks. But still, that's 19 total. That's a lot for this relatively new cart here. So, I mean, the Sports Coupe, I still regret, I can tell you the situation where I think it was for the New York Minute 3. I could pick between investing in the Glam Bruiser, which looks awesome, or the sports coupe, which already had 4 cities right off the bat. And I was thinking to myself, I'm just gonna put it in the Glam Cruiser. It looks cool. It's already got all these tracks, and then they've just pounded it with value. And every time I'm doing one of these videos, I'm like kicking myself because the sports coupe is just so valuable. It's definitely something, especially now as being in the all cup, all clear pipe, as well as also in the 100 pipes. Definitely a great card for you. Crawler card up to 14 as well. Between that and the pumpkin cart, man, these carts have been continued to be pumped full of value. In fact, the pumpkin cart, based on being a part of ranked and how often percentage of being ranked, it's actually our number 8 out of the top 10 carts, which is crazy to me. But the main reason why is that the percentage of ranked. It's only been out for a certain period of time. It's already been ranked like 3 or 4 times. So that really bumped up. It's only 20% of the score, but it's an important 20% of the score, apparently, as you can see. We'll see. Maybe like Gilded King, it drops again. But it's a very valuable cart. Steel Driver, obviously a very valuable cart in that it's now part of the top one, the 100 pipe as well as the all clear pipe. It's obviously featured this tour, so you'd expect it to get 2 more. They're holding back a little bit though, with only 11 so far. There's something coming with what kind of tracks it's going to be getting. Poison Apple Cart, sneaky good, 17 tracks now. Blue Soda, 16 tracks, number 6 on our list. No surprise there. It's been in our top 10 really for the last 3 months or so. But moved up and down, up and down, up and down. It's obviously up now. Makes sense. Dark Buggy, Jump Boost Plus. Love this cart. I love just such a cool cart. I wish I'd been able to use it more. It doesn't seem to be a part of ranked very often, which is why we haven't been hearing a lot about it. But we'll have obviously a big difference with that coming up this upcoming week. Gold Clanky Cart up to 16 now. Cometeo, Brown Off-Roader, Sushi Racer, Jingle Bells, Surf Sailor, and Apple Cart, as I mentioned. Outside of Brown Off-Roader, which was surprisingly at 15 tracks, and Cometeo, which had 15 tracks, and it's been pretty strong and dominant cart for a while. Sushi Racer, Jingle Bells, Surf Sailor, Apple Cart are not necessarily carts that are catching my attention, but each of them were throwing a bone there to either get to 11 or 12 tracks total. And then, of course, the Green Standard 8 and Red Standard 8, very interesting cards. They've been given some new top tracks. So if you have these, they're not just a novelty item. They seem to be relatively useful. If you've been holding back on those, I don't buy many of the tickets anymore unless they're high ends and out of my daily selects, except for those super carts. I still have like 6 or 7 super carts left that I need to max. Everything else is maxed. Obviously, gliders, drivers, normals. I still have one more normal cart, but other than that, the only non high-end cart that I get is a super cart. And for reasons like this, I've got these both to 6. They've been very useful. I think I'm actually going to be choosing to use this Red Standard 8 over the Gilded. Sorry about that, guys. Had a camera die on me. But we'll move forward to gliders here. So let me just pick up where we left off. Super unprofessional there. But the show must go on. So finally to who got buffed, we'll get to the gliders, and then finally to our top 10 and the changes there. Try to kind of keep this pretty short and sweet when it comes to the gliders. Jolly Bells obviously got a nice little buff there to now 11. 2 Hanafudas got 3 new tracks. It's interesting. So 13 and 11 for Jumping Mario Hanafuda and Bowser Hanafuda, respectively. Silver Star Shoot, still lagging behind at 9, but it's just still new, so I understand that. Manta Glider at 18 tracks. This is kind of why I'm hoping it's part of the next tour. It's obviously a very, very nice glider. 18 tracks is a lot of tracks. Great glider. I love it. We'll see how much I can get it on Sunday. Star Spangled Glider, not so great. 13 tracks, just because there's so many cities. I think it's got 4 or 5 cities, which obviously only has 13 assumed. Star Shoot, shooting to the top of the top 10 at number 2, which we'll get to here in a second. And then outside the 8-bit, which is now at 16, pretty decent. The glitter glider, lumen parafoil, butterfly wings, blizzard balloons, not that great. 14 or 15 or 13 top tracks, not that not worth writing home about. Usually in these special pipes, they buff these things like crazy. They didn't do that too much with these items. And then the 8-bit jumping Luigi, obviously finally getting some love. So finally to the top 10, there's been a little bit of change. Tabor did change his algorithm. He and I were playing around with some stuff. I think he ended up leaning on Ethan a lot here recently to try to help. Essentially, you saw our videos, our top 10 videos. You have shared coverage and unique coverage when it comes to what type of top tracks are there other drivers that or karts or gliders that also have that top track. When are you losing tracks? And so I think that's so important. So Tabor basically put it into his algorithm. He played around with a couple different ways. What he ended up deciding on was course coverage value. So each item's top shelf courses are given a value of 1 divided by the number of other top track or top items on that track, and then add them all together to become a certain percentage or a certain decibel there. So these values were all compared to each other and then ranked accordingly. So let's say you have 8 other drivers that you're sharing this track with, you're going to have less value than somebody who only has 3 other items on that track. So it's a good way to be able to do it. I'm excited about this, and it does change some of these values. So it'd be nice to compare apples to apples, but more importantly, I think it's important that we are nimble and that we have the most accurate top 10, and that would really trump any type of keeping apples to apples the same. So as you know, Dry Bones Gold and Mario, Chef Mario, were neck and neck and going back and forth. They've stayed the same, but both the top 2 drivers when it comes to the coverage and how much they're involved in ranked. You saw Penguin Luigi. He keeps getting more value. Now he's up to number 3 on this list. Black Yoshi's still holding down on number 4. Nabbit, as you heard earlier, love the guy. He is now up to number 5. Excited about that. It's nice to see a lot of Lucky 7 drivers on this list. Unfortunately, if you have a Rosalina tour, you kind of push Peach to the side. She got 3 variations, all get bumped down because of these 2 new emerging top 5 drivers. So Pink Gold Peach at 6, Peach Vacation at 7, Peach Wedding at 8. Yesterday Classic Luigi get bumped down to 9 as well. Dry Bowser Gold, as you know, with as many top tracks as he has, holding down that 10 spot. I also added here at the bottom, just in case you were wondering who's on the fringe, who might be jumping into this top 10 or might be on their way out. Pauline Party Time at number 11. Gold Koopa Free Running at 12. Mario Swimwear at 13. Rosa Swimwear at 14. And surprisingly, Mario Halloween at number 15. So interesting there to see who's on the outside looking in. Moving finally to, or not necessarily final, but moving to karts here, which as you know, there's so many karts. But one thing stayed the same. The top 5 have been solid. Between Happy Ride, Wild Black, Rose Queen, Off-Roader, Choco Macaroon, these karts have been basically in the top 5 in some different order, basically since we've done these lists. These are solid karts. They've been holding their value for a long period of time. Really, from there on, it's a very volatile type of, between all the drivers and gliders, the karts are actually the most volatile when you have so many. These values could get buffed, it could get nerfed or whatever, and they're moving around all the time. These top 5, if you're investing in these top 5, you will not be let down. I can promise you that. As for 6 through 10, a lot of moving around. Surprisingly, the pumpkin kart jumped into number 8. One of the top reasons I think this is the case is because of how often it's been a part of ranked, for how long it's been around. So meaning that it's a certain percentage of ranked that gets its own 20% score. And that's been extremely high. It's been, almost every other ranked. It's been a part of that top shelf. I have a level 1, and I might put some tickets in it now, knowing that, especially with Mini Turbo Plus. Blue Soda, it's been bumped around. It was at number 6 at one point, and then down to 10, and then 7, 10, then 6, and now it's been pretty confidently in our top 10 though. Just essentially of where you place it there on that the pedestal. Good at Prancer. I'm surprised with as many ice courses we've had. It went down one slot. Sweet Day Tripper went down as well as Badwagon, which again, hey, that's going to happen as you shift these around. So looking to the fringe, Black Dozer at 11, Red B Dasher at 12, Dark Buggy at 13, the Gilded King, who was in our top 10 last time, now is a number 14, and Dozer Dasher, a pretty confident top 10 or top 20. It's been in the top 10 many times. And then finally, when it comes to the top 10, is our gliders. Dragon Wings still holding on to that top spot. Just such great coverage. And it doesn't seem like it has too much overlap with other drivers or other karts. I know it is notorious for sharing it with, say, coin gliders or other gliders, but I think when you add it all up, it still is very dominant, meaning that you add up all these percentages, still pretty strong. Whereas you see the Tropical Glider, which I believe was at number 5 last time, now at number 11. It got hit hard. I definitely think it got the biggest hit when it came to that change in algorithm. As for Starshoot, its top coverage, very, very small with overlapping, which bumped it up 5 spots to number 2, in addition to being really featured after featured after featured, really these last 2 or 3 tours. Gold Sweeper is still solid glider. I know I just double uncapped mine. I love it. It's been really helping with All Cup ranking. Still solid. I think it's arguably my favorite coin glider. You have Cloud Glider, which also jumped up with Starshoot, jumped 5 spots. So for those who have been purchasing it in your daily selects or getting it in your all clear pipe, this is great news. It's been very valuable, and it doesn't sound like it overlaps too much. Fortunately, the Strawberry Donut, which did overlap a decent amount, still solid, still a solid glider, but bumped down to number 5 on our list. Chocolate Banana Crepe, which it's fluctuated quite a lot too, is down 2 spots. Royal Parachute, Gold Glider both went up. Daisy Glider and Gold Crane have seen better days on this list. Unfortunately, they're number 9 and 10. I mentioned Tropical Glider at number 11, Wicked Wings at 12, Chocolate Donut at 13, Butterfly Sunset, our favorite little Gone and Then Back Again glider there at number 14, and then Pink Gold Paper Glider at 15. So that rounds out all of our top 10. And then 2 last segments here. The week ranked. So this just kind of gives you an idea of what's top shelf for the 3 tracks for this week's ranked. And as we've alluded to, based on the packs and other telltale signs, we believe that Hammer Bro, and by the time you're watching this, you probably already know if I'm wrong or right, but Hammer Bro for being week 2 for ranked this week. Here's a good screenshot if you want to screenshot with your phone or be able to get this from Reddit. So I've been posting all these slides to Reddit as JPEGs, so feel free to download those, put them on your phone, be able to review them as well. So that's all I have, guys. Thank you so much. Hope the Rosalina Tour treats you well, and if I don't talk to you sooner, have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.